Nick Cage is an absolute batshit crazy person, and that is the working thesis of this video. Let's talk about Willys Wonderland. You and I, you remember that movie that came out and 3 people saw it? Well, I wanted to see it when it came out, and it was on rental for YouTube for $16. 15? I think it was $15. No, not paying $15 to rent it, but however, it was $2.99 the other day, so I went, damn! I'm in the middle of speedrunning Resident Evil 3 for the 19th time. Why don't I go ahead and watch this movie? So for those of you who don't know, Willys Wonderland is starring Nick Cage as drifter, I guess, janitor maybe. And he doesn't say a single word throughout the entirety of the entire movie. He makes some grunts, he makes some sound effects, but he does not utter a word. Just stoic sunglasses look, and then nods and very firm handshakes with other characters. And the plot is simple. He's driving into some abandoned town. He hits a little spike strip, blows his tires. If you can spend a whole night in Willys Wonderland just cleaning up this facility for a grand reopening, I'll pay for your Chevrolet, whatever the hell it was. Brand new tires, fully repaired. We don't take credit card in this town, only cash. ATM's broken though, so I guess we'll have to work out a deal. But for this, let's just jump in the deep end. He just starts beating the absolute hell out of animatronics. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's, if it was the way you actually wanted it to go. And he's just there beating down these animatronics, like ripping off limbs and heads and just blood, just oil and debris flying everywhere. It's just grotesque amounts. Gets covered head to toe in this animatronic goo and oil. And he just takes his shirt off and changes into another Willy Wonderland employee staff shirt and just goes back to work. He starts just patching himself up with some duct tape, little cuts here. Just a man's weird and wild. Somehow he just beats down animatronics with like using his environment. He's in the bathroom patching himself up, and he hears the animatronic in the bathroom. He kicks the door open and smashes his skull against the urinal and hits him with the plunger and rips him apart. It sounds wild and dumb because it is, and it's the greatest thing ever created. It's how can you go wrong? Also, side note to me, throw this in here wherever there's a pause or a break. But I don't know if it was CGI or practical effects, because it looked like mostly practical effects. He's ripping off limbs and oil's going everywhere. But that shit was convincing. That was well done. I don't know who the director is. I don't know if it's CGI, but if it was, it blew the entire budget. But no, I feel like it genuinely came down to practical effects. And by God, they were nutty. Like, you never once doubted it. I thought it was just beating a guy in a furry suit at half the time, and then oil goes everywhere, and he starts cramming items and objects down their throats. You're like, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm intrigued what happens next. And it's even more wild once you look into the movie just a little bit more. Apparently, the reason the protagonist is silent is because the director of the movie was going to do the role himself, but then Nick Cage was just like, you know what? I'll take it. I'll take your silent protagonist speaking role. I was like, what? Okay. So it's supposed to be a low-budget self-insert, and then Nick Cage was just like, you know what? I'll do it. This seems wild and wacky and fun. And he did. And it's one of the greatest movies he's ever done of any movie ever. We've peaked as a society, really. Like, there's not like a single thing about him that isn't like weird and quirky. Like, you can tell it's supposed to be like video game-esque when it comes to plot and lore and explanations and weird characters. So like every hour on the hour, his watch goes off and he goes and plays pinball and has a soda. And I don't know, like maybe it's like a soda, like it's a can of whoop ass or what. But every hour on the hour, he goes and takes like a 10-15 minute break, plays some pinball, and like gets more and more sexual and into the machine and gets really uncomfortable. But like he just flat out stops a fight with an animatronic to go have a soda and play some pinball, and leaves one of the other characters alone. Just, good luck. I'll come back in a bit to come finish the fight. And he does. But speaking of other characters, meh. So there's five other characters. And, let's get into some spoilers. If you're here to get a review of Willys Wonderland and not get spoilers, then you should probably just watch the movie. Like, you're not... How much reassurance do you need to watch a B movie? But anyways, so there's 5 characters. One's the actual only, co-star, whereas the others are just stereotypes to die. You have a guy that's obsessed with the girl. The girl is, I would even say love interest. She's just, the sidekick character to Nick, she's trying to save him, and he's just there to get his car fixed. He doesn't give a shit. He's not scared of them. Animatronics aren't locked. He's not locked in there with the animatronics. The animatronics are locked in there with him. So, it's one of those things where the other characters is flat. They don't have a whole role except to die. There is the, classic jock gangster type with the blonde slut. It's not even... It's supposed to be stereotypical, and it is, but it comes off as more annoying because there's nothing different or strange about it. It's not a weird, oh, that's quirky and different. No, it's just damn, baby, no one's hotter than you, my girl. Let's go have sex in the murder room. Oh, man, is it weird that the rooms where these children got murdered just get me a little turned on? Cool. You made them weird. It's not quirky or edgy humor. It's just kind of odd. And then they have completely clothed sex. And then the animatronic starts killing them, and everything's put away. There's no nudity, which, I mean, fine, but it's just weird to have a sex scene in what is basically a PG-13 movie. Except probably minus that. I don't know what the rating turns out to be after that, and I'm not gonna look. It doesn't change the point. But then they both get brutally murdered in the murder room, and it's she's obsessed with the murders, and you think that there's gonna be some arc with her where it's oh, she's a fanatic, if you will, and gonna do something to sabotage the other. No, she's just there to be blonde and hit on and then die. Neat. And the other one sympathizes with the animatronic. And the other male character is just there to be just because you're simping with the other girl that has no interest in you, it doesn't mean you're going to get laid, bucko. And then he dies. And the female protagonist moves on very quickly from her four friends being murdered. Wowee. It just gets to the point where the other characters are so annoying that it just takes away from Nick Cage being wild. And that's all that should be the only intention of the movie, is just watching him get freaky on some animatronics, and not in the way that you would think that means. But just in case you're really, really sold on not knowing spoilers, we're going to jump into the ending here and why I think it actually brings the quality of the movie down. So if you don't want spoilers, there's probably a timestamp here. If not, this will most likely go pretty close to the end of the video, so just find a good spot there and try not to get ruined, all right? Or just go watch the damn movie. It's $2, $3 maybe. So the whole thing is that the town is like a cult, and it had a connection, demon, whatever, slaying in Willys Wonderland. The kids got too close to animatronics. They got injured. They died. Possession of the animatronics. It's FNAF. But now the town brings outsiders to sacrifice to Willy himself. The big Will, if you will. And they just sacrificed them. Cool. Possessed by demons, they need human sacrifices. But the thing is that Nick Cage is there to fuck him up. And, it just... There was such, a weird, a curse. The sheriff, who's the central antagonist outside of the animatronics. She's been doing it for years, bringing in people, sacrificing them, except for the time where the lead protagonist, the girl, she survived, and the animatronic killed her parents. So the sheriff, adopted her and now is protecting her because she doesn't want her own daughter to be killed. But then she gets killed by Willy because I don't really. I'm assuming because Willy didn't hold loyalty to anybody. He wanted to feast, but he just eats the old lady. And your parents died here. That's crazy. All the things I've done to protect you. And then Nick Cage just beats him down with random stuff around. He likes to really use his environment in all the fights. And trust me, when I watched it, like I paused whatever I was doing, and I had to watch the fights. I had to see what was going on. I mean, that's like mostly it for this story. Like there wasn't one, and there really didn't need to be one. Like if you're gonna commit to this weird angle of the sheriff doesn't care because they just broke in, and that's what the kids get for breaking into the place, fine. I would have been fine with that. I would have been perfectly fine if the guy legitimately was just like, you know what? I am, in fact, reopening this place. How about you go clean it for me? Like, there's rumor of some spooky happenings. How about you go deal with that for a bit, and I'll fix your car. Like, if they had just played it straight, and it just so happens that the animatronics are evil, and he just kills them all, and the kids sneak in as, like, teenagers just exploring a legend, and they realized, oh, damn, it's true. In the end of the movie, Nick Cage gets in his souped-up, brand-new, tuned-up car, and the guy owner walks in and is like, what the heck? The legends were true? Like, that would have been it. The sheriff just doesn't come. Yeah, like I said, because the kids get what they deserve. They broke into the place. He's doing it for a job. Who cares? It's not her job. It's not her business. Like, it didn't need to be so convoluted and, like, cultish, because, like, the mechanic that can't take credit card is in on it. The guy that owns the business is in on it. The sheriff's in on it. And not to overanalyze such a dumb movie, but if you're going to come into it like that, you're already making it way too convoluted. Like I don't need to pick apart a movie that's meant to be mostly a joke, but it didn't need to take itself seriously, which it didn't until they were telling like a serious underlying plot. Like I know it wasn't the most prevalent matter. Like it was just a tertiary piece of information to build the universe of Willys Wonderland, but it really wasn't necessary, and I feel like it kind of drew away from it just a little bit, which, meh. Like I said, it's nothing that's going to impact it positively or negatively, but I feel like there's a different avenue it could have taken with it. So with all that being said, I think at the end of the day, this movie deserves a 65%. I know I said a lot of good things about it, but it does have a lot of flaws. It is like a very stereotypical movie. Originally, I wanted to give it like a 70, but really thinking about it, like it's not a movie that you got to tell your friends to watch. Like it's not like where you watch John Wick, and if you don't care about the characters, you don't give a hell about the plot, like you can still say, look at this fighting. This is nuts. The fights in here are cool, like they're badass. But you're not going to sit down and watch it 2, 3, 4, 5 times with your friends and be like, we got to put on Willys Wonderland because that shit's crazy and wacky and bonkers. Like, it's not like it's a fun, bad movie, but it's not like you have to go back and rewatch it once a year type of bad movie. Like, it's wild, it's crazy, it's a lot of fun, but you're not realistically going to be like, yeah, you should really watch this Nick Cage movie where he beats up animatronics. Like, the premise alone sold me on it just because I love dumb things. Like, I think dumb things are fun, but in the grand scheme, you're not going to get, like, 40 people to go watch it just based off the fight scenes. That being said, I think 65% is very fair, and, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's mostly my opinion of it. I'm sure there's a couple of things I'm going to add in and just edit them in later. Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching another one of these, like, reviews. If you want to see more like this, click the subscribe button. Make sure you press the bell button, the notifications, whatever you want to do. Personalized, always, whatever. And give me a thumbs up so I know you liked it and so I can see the number on that thing go up. Great for analytics. Don't know what it does, but makes us feel better as creators. And if you guys want to watch me live, that's at twitch.tv/LazyAfterDark. Or if you want to see anything else that I do, including the streams, all of those linked in the description down below. Yeah, you thought I was going to... Yeah, I know. But that's going to do it for me. So thank you guys all so much for watching. And I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone. Such a great, fun movie that I will never watch again.